Let's all do levels. Let's go.
I mean,
let's harmonize.
Clap.
The clapping doesn't do anything.
Come on, Nate. Where are you at? Oh shit! We should start a band, an international band.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman. On today's episode, we're discussing the latest issue 138, which came out on July 19th, 2017. We'll also have a couple news items to talk about, some great listener letters, and then stick around for this month's Fan Spotlight segment featuring Ben and Nate from the NerdsChatting Podcast. My name is Ryan, and joining me today is TJ.
It's TJ.
And that's it. It's just us.
Yeah.
Fucking
it is.
No Bill today. He's in Florida with his family, but he will be giving his thoughts on this issue in 2 weeks when we release our next podcast, which I'm titling The End is Near. It's going to be our the first time the new readers, Liz and Brittany, join the three of us guys to not only discuss the first half of The End of All Things, but this also marks the completion of the new reader journey. We've already gotten a couple emails for that episode with questions for the girls, but if you haven't sent one in, we'd love to hear from you. Also on that episode, we're going to be talking a lot about Nolan, which kind of makes sense. And so we'd love to hear some of your favorite, Nolan moments and memories from throughout the entire series. So, TJ, where can they find us?
They can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on iTunes,
An email.
YouTube.
What's our email address? if
They
people
can
want to
find
email
us
us.
many a places. You could also find us and message us on Facebook and at our email at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. That's right.
There it is.
There it is. So
There it is.
we're going to start off this episode with a little bit of news. It's currently San Diego Comic-Con. So far, nothing to announce, but keep an eye on social media for that.
Which is dumb, because Kirkman has already done his...
I think
he's done a couple things.
He's kind of done his panel. It's kind of going on like right now. I don't know.
But like right at this time last year of San Diego, when he did his first panel, he made maybe he'll make an appearance in other media.
Oh, yeah,
and we freaked out about it.
Yeah, that's right. Man, a year ago.
Nothing yet.
That's
no
right.
casting.
That's right. A year ago, we were talking about how, he said he might appear in other media. Yeah.
Right.
And we've got
and then
an official.
a month later.
Yeah, but we know from the
Canceled.
Seth Rogen. We know from the Seth Rogen AMA that he's got to still be writing it. So they're not going to announce casting for a while. So.
Yeah.
Otherwise, obviously Kirkman's there. Ryan Ottley's there. Go check out Ryan Ottley.
Yeah, no one really knows that Ryan Ottley is there, though, apparently. He's not on the list, and he's not even with the other artists.
Yeah, he tweeted out about that, saying that, because he's at one of the other booths.
Yeah, and he's in a corner, a dark corner. So if you're there...
Go give Ryan Ottley a hug.
Go search him down. But if you're listening to this, I'm sure you know where he is.
Yeah. So the Skybound minis are also on sale at the Skybound booth. Those are the figures that we've talked about in the past. The little, they used to come in the mystery packs. They're still a mystery pack, but now they're colored. And I actually got to see what they actually look like now in a little video Skybound put out today. And they look really good. The colored versions, all we've seen previously are just the drawings, basically. But the finished figures actually look really cool. A little bummed that they're in blind boxes because I want all the Invincible ones. But I'm definitely going to be grabbing a couple of them.
But I feel like the other ones are cool, too.
I love the solid color ones, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but you mean the other figures?
Yeah, I'm talking all the non-Invincible related ones.
Yeah, the Negan is neat. There's a couple cool Walking Dead ones. And you're watching Outcast, right? Or you did watch Outcast?
Yeah. You know what? Huh. I want to talk about something. Can we talk about something?
Go for it.
I need to reach out right now to our Invincible podcast. Robert Kirkman fans out there that also watch the Outcast show. It took me a while to get into it, but I loved the first season and have been waiting for the second season. I look up on the internet when the second season is coming out. The only articles that I can find on the whole World Wide Web is the fact that the second season is coming out in April of 2017 in the UK. There's nothing.
Really?
It's been out. It's done. The second season is done.
Can you buy it on iTunes?
No, I can't buy it.
Even if you tried, you should try switching your iTunes to the UK version.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that.
Listen, I challenge anybody. Hit us up on our Facebook, email us. If you can find an article that says when the second season is coming out in the US, like even if it got canceled in the US, you would think there would be a fucking article out there somewhere saying that. You know what I mean? I cannot find any information about it being released in the US.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Huh. And it was Cinemax, right?
Cinemax, yeah, and I have Cinemax.
Did it stay with Cinemax, or did another UK company pick it up?
I don't know. I think it's still Cinemax. Again, you would think there would be an article. There's nothing. Maybe I'm just typing in the wrong stuff.
Interesting.
That's why I'm reaching out. I'm sure there's people out there that have better search skills than I do. I should reach out to NerdsChatting people. Probably are all caught up on Outcast.
Moving on, we've got some video games to talk about real quick. We got an email from Mike Barrett.
It's hot in here.
Oh yeah, if anybody is from old time Invincible podcast listener, the summer in this room. Whew,
it's a scorcher.
It's kind of hot in these rhinos. All right, so Mike Barrett emailed us after the last episode where we talked about video games, and he says, "Hey gents, great podcast about 137. I particularly enjoyed the chat all about the potential for a video game based on the Invincible comic. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat and action-adventure games like Spider-Man, and I hope they give us something great along those lines. Loved all your ideas, but why all the hate for the Telltale game series? I haven't played them all, but I think they have their place in the Walking Dead fandom and could work well for Invincible, no? On that note, I wanted to sell you guys on a Telltale game idea you might like. Invincible Tara Grayson, a Telltale game series. Yes, that's all right. A Telltale game all about the newest and cutest member of the Grayson family, Tara. Mike goes on to talk about how it would follow Tara throughout her life, even showing us moments from, currently in the comics in which we could play as Mark or Eve, having those moments where Tara gets to decide things, her being there for Oliver's death, and then it would actually take place after the comic ends. Again, this is assuming Tara survives and everything ends up in a place where it could continue on. And the series, the Telltale series, could go on showing Tara's life as she grows up. Thoughts? Love, Mike. Well, first off, I did actually talk to Mike a little bit about this via Twitter. I don't hate Telltale. I think that, and we talked a little bit about this last time. I think that their games are just janky, and I've played, I think, every single one. I still need to play Tales from the Borderlands, which I have downloaded. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I just want their system to run better. I mean, the game is just such a mess most of the time.
For me, it's like, let's take Batman, for example. There was a Batman Telltale, and I liked it a lot. And then there's Arkham, and that's the difference between watching Batman and being Batman. I want something where I can control Invincible, control the characters.
But like we talked about last episode,
it's impossible.
That's so
but
hard
that's
to do.
what I want.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think Telltale.
But that's why we talk about Telltale being just, it's Telltale. It's good, but it's a story. It's not necessarily
but I have no problem with that.
A game.
I think that would work perfect for Invincible. You can't. You'd want to be able to fly.
I agree. It will be perfect.
Yeah. But I just want Telltale games to run a little bit smoother and to be a little bit less janky. I mean, Batman was awesome. It was a very good game, story-wise. I think it ran poorly, and anytime a fight scene would come up, it would just chug. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, though, Telltale just announced that they are doing a second season of Batman. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was announced yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. It's called Enemy Within, and the first image they showed off
wasn't it released that they were going to do another one?
Well, it was teased. The first image they showed off was Riddler, which is awesome because I'm a big Riddler fan.
You know what? I think I did see that now.
Really?
I think I scrolled past an article and didn't pay attention to it.
They also announced they're finally doing The Wolf Among Us 2, which is off of the Fables comic, which I loved. Wolf Among Us, the first one.
I always pick up that comic.
Oh yeah.
And then put it back down.
And finally, they also announced that the final season of The Walking Dead Telltale will be coming out, kind of wrapping up. That will be their 4th season. I haven't gotten around to play the 3rd season yet because I want to play it on PS4 and I just haven't had the time. I do have a code for the PC version. It came with my Mega Box last month. So you know what? I'm going to give it away. If anybody wants The Walking Dead Season Pass, this is Season 3, A New Frontier, here is your code to have it on PC.
First one to type it into the PlayStation.
No, this is PC.
Or PC.
It's for Steam. Yep.
Oh,
so
PC? Who's out there playing PC games?
A lot of people play PC games.
Oh,
Too many.
I don't like them. I don't like them.
Well, anyways.
We're Sony fanboys.
Walking Dead, New Frontier. This is your Steam code. Y89JJJ3ZEDTWDBB5. Go for it. Somebody wants Walking Dead on Steam. I'll be playing it on PS4, especially knowing that the final season is coming out. I'd like to catch up on it.
Are you pissed off because you waited to listen to the Invincible podcast and someone else already got it? Well,
if nobody
fear
gets
not.
it, I mean, I'm thinking
I'm going to be giving mine away.
Oh, you have one too.
I
That's
do.
right.
Oh, I got the Mega Box.
That's
the Mega Box.
That's right.
Maybe next episode. So we will do it next episode.
Yeah.
So
okay, we'll do another one next episode.
So you keep an eye on us.
If nobody claims this,
posting it.
I'm gonna try and claim it in like 2 weeks, and then it's mine. So first dibs gets it.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right, moving
Someone
on.
better take that shit.
Real quick though, on the topic of video games, they announced Thief of Thieves, right?
Yes, I know Thief of Thieves.
Did you see that they announced a video game?
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and it actually looks pretty cool.
No.
Doesn't that suck?
No.
Come on.
No, I will not play that game out of spite.
It's made by Rival Games. It actually looks kind of cool. It's kind of like an isometric, not quite top-down, like sneaking around, stealth, espionage kind of thing. It looks pretty cool. But hey, Skybound making those games. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. So, otherwise, 2 quick things. The Wolfman hardcover was released on June 28th. So since our last episode, I believe, and it looks awesome. It's a huge hardcover collecting the entire Wolfman series. And
we're going to be doing 3rd volume, not next episode. So our next episode is going to be, like we talked about, it's going to be halfway through the end of all halfway.
The end is near.
The end is near, that's it. Yeah.
And then after that will be a new issue, I think. Oh, no. Actually, I think it is going to be the Wolfman Volume 3.
Yeah, it'll
Either
probably
way,
be
that's coming up.
2 or 3 episodes from now, we're going to be doing the 3rd volume of Wolfman. Mm-hmm. And I can't fucking wait for that.
It gets so good. It really is. It's always good. It's always good.
Yeah.
But it just ramps up almost the same way Invincible just ramps up and it gets better and better. So, other than that, the cover for issue 141 was revealed, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So, let's get into this new issue discussion.
We'll talk about it during the episode.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I need to bring it up as we, to share my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Issue 138. And quick shout out to Mark Morales. He came on as an inker. That's pretty great. And
he brought something very different to Ottley's artwork. It just feels different to me.
Yeah. I think it looks cool.
I can't even put my finger on it.
I don't know. It looks like it pops differently.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm not well versed enough. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah. So, starts off with pretty much right where we ended. Eve's still in that window looking down at Mark. Alan rallies the troops and they all head out. Mark,
space racer.
Yep, given his one line for the issue. Mark looks back at Eve, and they have this moment. You know what I mean? Like they had that at the end of last issue. So it's like not only did we see that last issue, but we're seeing it again right here, and I think it's very important.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it is the last peaceful look before things change. Obviously, things change by the end of this issue, and Mark is going to be a different person.
Yeah. This look made me nervous. I was nervous. I read this issue so slow. So slow.
Oh, man. There were so many points where I just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the next time Eve sees Mark, he's going to be a very different person. And we've talked for a long time about how, Mark might snap and what would cause Mark to snap. And if he does, this might be, a sign of, hey, this is it. This is our last quiet moment before that. So,
yep.
I loved Thrag throwing these Ragnars around.
Yeah.
Like the sticky hands you would get out of a quarter vending machine.
Yeah.
You'd stick it to your sister's face, just kind of whip them around. It kind of looks like Thor's hammer. And him just like whipping them and throwing them at Viltrumites. I thought that was really cool.
Swinging them around.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Craig almost gets eaten. And he just he whips them and then pulls them back and then throws them again.
Yeah.
I liked Thula using the knife that's, attached to her ponytail to cut one and then set it loose. Now, here's the thing. I mean, she sets it loose and sticks it on the elite guard Viltrumites, which means, these Ragnars are now free roaming. As soon as Thrag loses control of them, they're attacking everybody. So
right.
They're kind of a loose cannon now, which is kind of, I don't know. I mean, we got to see Thrag teaching the Viltrumites how to fight them. Remember that one?
Yep.
I forgot which issue it was. It was it was the third one in Cory Walker's arc. I don't know. When it ends with him saying, I want you to go kill Mark.
Yeah.
What did you think of this moment with Craig and Ursula?
I mean, I've past couple of issues since End of All Things started, I'm really starting to like Ursula more and more. Mm-hmm. Ever since she started to we're seeing looks on her face where she's starting to rebel a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm starting to like her more and more.
And it almost looks like she keeps doubting. You keep seeing this doubt wash over her.
She's trying so hard to convince herself that she's
doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anytime that she might be my favorite,
side character.
Right now. Like in this story arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see her fighting.
Mm-hmm. And Mark and Nolan, Alan, they all show up. Space Racer, of course.
Thrag at long last.
Yeah.
And here they are.
I like how from the get-go, Nolan doesn't let Mark go after Thrag. Thrag wants to take him on.
He tries to claim him, and Nolan says, no, Thrag is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Tackles him.
Yep. So, and this is I believe the first and only breakaway from the fight scene we get this entire issue.
Yep.
We get to see more Rex. Not quite as much as I wanted to see after last issue, giving us so much time on Earth.
I was okay with this.
No, it was still cool, but it further solidifies kind of what me and you were thinking.
Yeah, it does,
less
Bill. Oh
so,
my
Bill.
gosh. Pizza. You owe me pizza. Not yet officially.
Because
but damn it, you will.
I don't think it's official yet.
I think Bill knows that he's going to owe me some fucking pizza.
Yeah. Were you under the impression after last issue that Rex only took the kids?
Yes, I was.
So was I.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the family there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that goes to show even more that he's being sincere. He's like, this is the only way to protect you.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I remember, I didn't look it up, but I remember them ripping the kids out of the parents' arms.
Yes,
and the robots
page.
holding them behind Rex while Rex explained to the parents. You know what I mean? Am I
there
wrong?
was two separate ones. There was one where Rex it showed the parents, and then the only time it showed the kids was when he had Marky, and it showed Anissa's husband on the floor looking up.
Yeah.
So it was. I think that was actually well done. I think it made it look like he was taking
just
the kids.
The kids, yeah.
But that's awesome that he actually ended up taking everyone.
Right.
Awesome theory by Niall, who wrote in after that last issue and said, I think Rex is going to take the children to the Flaxon dimension where he and Monster Girl went, where time moved faster. Have the children grow up and use them for the war against the Viltrumites. He already has Earth on lock. What else does he need them for? Also, if this is true, it backs up the theory about Marky. Immortal thinking Marky is Mark because they look alike. So
when I read that, it angered me that I was not that I didn't think of that.
That's
you know
so
what I mean?
good now. Holy shit.
I hate that I did not think of that. You know what I mean?
It's so good. I feel like it's not gonna be like it's too
But the
cool.
best ones never happen.
Yeah, that's
You know
like Joker in Suicide Squad not being Jason Todd. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's too cool.
Yeah. I wanted that so bad.
I know. That sucks. It should have been. That might have even saved the movie. So yeah, imagine Rex taking the kids, and then that's why King Immortal confuses Mark for the Emperor, like for the leader of the Viltrumites, because Marky looks so similar to Mark. That's so cool. But no, I mean, he says that he's leaving them. I like how he tells Bulletproof to, try and get somebody in here, preferably a female, to talk to them,
to
reassure them.
Yeah, can relate to her better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feel more comfortable and safe.
Yep. And I like how his robot suit goes into his like bigger evil looking robot suit.
He's so Iron Man right now.
He really is.
He really
really
is.
is.
Like too much.
I mean, that's always how. I mean, it's gotten more, I know, but ever since he started growing up, even when he was, a little kid, he would be inside the suit and it would form around him and everything like that, or the suit would form into a ball or something like that. And then he tells Bulletproof that he's pretty much joining the fight. What does he say? He says, "There's a threat on its way to Earth. I need to help
make sure it never reaches this planet."
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Are we seeing him next issue?
That's awesome. That gets me. That's right there is the reason why we don't see him for the rest of the issue.
Yes.
He's gonna show up.
He's gonna make an appearance.
He's gonna fucking drop bombs on some bitches.
Oh man.
And then you turn the page.
Do you think it's next issue though? Rex shows up next issue?
Yes, I do.
Do you think we see some of it, or do you think it's the end of the issue?
I think we're gonna see. I think it's gonna be towards the end, but it's not gonna be like last page.
Yeah.
And I think that next issue we're gonna see some of what's going on Earth, like Bulletproof with the kids, or like the kids trying to rebel.
Like we didn't
talking
see Tara
to a woman. You're right, we didn't.
And the last time we saw her, she was flying off the roof.
I didn't need her.
Yeah, I just now realized it.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Bill's such a huge fan of Tara, and I love little kids. I love Tara too, but
I don't think it was needed.
Okay
this
with
issue.
the break. Yeah. Nothing in this issue nothing cute should have been about this issue. You know what I mean?
I know. You're right.
You're
right.
Like, you cannot have a cute moment in this issue.
No, you're right. That if it would have slowed things down a little bit.
This is such a beautiful splash.
Right.
2 in a row. But
right.
I can't wait to get to the next one.
No,
but
I know.
We'll talk about this one.
This one is so cool. I think, you know what does it for me, this one? It's the sun. It's the fact that we have this. It's not just them. It's not a splash page of a lot of things happening in space. It's a lot of things happening like half in space and half over the sun. And that's so cool. When they said they were going to the sun, like, we thought that they would just, come around the sun, but they're still really close to it, so much that it's taking up so much of a panel.
Best thing my favorite thing on this page is Space Racer right through somebody's head.
Yep.
Blasting somebody right through the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm kind of a humble guy, but I just love saying how right I am all the time. I'm right all the time. You know what I mean?
About what?
Last issue we talked about how you and Bill thought that there were 30 people. You guys counted. Wasn't it like 30
or
like 18
100.
or something?
Somebody said millions,
there
and
were
we're like, oh,
billions of. There's not literally, but there's hundreds of them. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Look at how many
we were saying
Bill
there was
can't
30
count them.
Viltrumites. All those ones in the back are the kids, the young Viltrumites.
Right. We counted both though.
I think that is a lot of Thrag's army versus 30 Earth Viltrumites. That's what we were saying, and I don't think there's much more than 30 Earth Viltrumites because there's only a few on this page. I can only see 4 or 5.
They look all.
No, those are all Thrag's kids.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those, oh yeah, we're agreeing.
I agree that
we're
those
agreeing.
I agree that there's a ton of those, but there's not a lot of the
You thought that there were a
Viltrumites.
ton of them.
Yeah.
Last
the
issue?
argument was that we didn't think there was a ton of Earth Viltrumites, and there's not.
I thought we
it
talked
doesn't
about
look
both.
like it.
Could have sworn we talked about both.
I think that was a couple episodes ago.
No.
When they were fighting on that one planet. I don't know.
We're gonna look back. I'm gonna fucking look back.
It's on record. Anyways, this splash page is incredible. I love it. It is really cool. Then You want to talk about it?
It's the best. It's like
so cool.
It's the greatest thing to happen in this entire arc so far. Since the it's like the first like legit callback. Like the callback that like really made me like feel something. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah. God.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. So issue
29.
29. That's hardcover volume 3. Mark goes to the planet Thraxa.
Yeah.
And that's where Nolan went after he left and, killed the Guardians and fought Mark. And that's the planet that he, found a wife, Andressa, and birthed
Oliver.
Exactly.
Fucking Grayson.
And this is when we find out that, like, who the Viltrumites really are. They show up to this planet and destroy the planet.
They're looking for a fight.
Yeah, well, they're looking for Nolan because they found out that he left.
Yeah.
And Nolan calls to Mark. The reason why Mark went there was Nolan sent for him because he needed backup fighting Viltrumites. It was the first time Mark ever... This was the first, like, real fight with his dad.
Yeah.
This was the first, especially, not only the first brutal fight, but the first, like, real father-son fight. And Mark got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And it was such an iconic splash page back then. Having a callback to it in the last fight with Mark and Nolan is incredible.
So I saw this. I feel like we have to talk about...
Nolan dying?
No, the cover of 141. Because this entire issue, I was not scared for Nolan at all.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I was. Yeah. I really wish that I was scared for him because I want to feel...
So the cover for 141 was released. I tweeted it out, and I even tweeted, well, there goes everybody's theories.
Right, I said the same thing.
Yeah, and it was like, okay. And so I'm right there with you.
Because Nolan is on the cover. He's crying. He's holding Debbie. And we know Invincible covers, they don't really mean much. You know what I mean? Like,
so Mike Barrett actually sent in another email, and one of the things he said was a question about 141, the October issue cover that was revealed a couple days ago. Nolan is on the cover, and yet he was clearly killed at the end of 138. Do you think this was misdirection, not a final art, and is it possible that Nolan was replaced by Mark on the final cover art? Or do you think this references a flashback sequence or something similar? Other crazy options, Nolan really isn't dead, and Nolan is now a ghost that will haunt Debbie for the rest of her life, attached to her hip for all eternity. What are your thoughts? So, I think, yes, I'm right there with you, TJ. I did not think Nolan was going down because he was clearly on the cover. And not only on the cover for, like, the next issue, but on the cover of 3 issues from now.
Yeah.
I think this is 100% the same thing that happened with Oliver. Oliver was on the cover of 131 holding his kids. Now, Nolan's on the cover of 141 holding his wife, or his wife's holding him.
Yeah.
I think...
It's just, I don't, like, if it is that type of thing, I just kind of, I don't really like it. Because I want it. Because even though I could have predicted it, like, at this moment, without the cover of 141 releasing, at this moment, I'd have been like, fuck, Nolan's going to die. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Just because I predicted it doesn't mean it's bad or anything. Like, I wanted to be scared for him, and I wasn't. I just wish I hadn't seen that cover. I don't know. Really? Yeah. I want to be scared for him. Because there were several
times that they kept pulling away. Like, there were several times within this fight that he almost dies and then he doesn't. And then he almost dies and then he doesn't.
But the whole time I'm thinking, well, I know he's not going to die. So
I actually wasn't.
I wish I...
Because of Oliver. He was on the cover.
Even after it ended, I'm like... Well, he's probably not dead. So, you know what I mean? There's a chance. But they made a point by saying, "Oh, you moved." Well, we'll get there.
Yes, no.
We'll fucking get there.
Yes. Here's my thing. The last thing I want to say about the cover for 141. I think that regardless of what happens next issue, Nolan's body is going back to the ship.
Yeah.
I don't think Debbie is going to find out until 141. And that's why she's holding her husband on the cover.
Yeah, picture.
No, I don't think it's a picture. I just think that it's...
No, yeah,
it's
I know
like
what you mean.
The cover for 133 is Oliver holding...
Yeah, he's crying.
Yeah, Oliver is holding his kids on the cover of 133. It's a moment. It's symbolic of it's his funeral.
Yeah.
Then 141, is it the funeral? Is it the moment Debbie finds out she's going to want to hold him again and she can't? That is, I think, just symbolic of that cover. Yeah. But... they know they have to show off these covers months before.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So
no, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it affected the way I read it too much, because anything can happen. All the small images.
The only reason why I thought that, though, just reiterating, is the fact that, because we know that, Walking Dead covers mean nothing and Invincible covers, they mean nothing. Yeah. But the end of all things, we even talked about this, I think, on the last issue, new issue episode, is they've been holding true to whoever's on the cover has been in the comic. You even said that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I thought, he's definitely not going to die.
But like the cover that had Eve on it, like nothing crazy happened with her. I mean,
no, right.
She was in it just as much as everybody else.
But she was in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Which is also kind of cool about 141 having Tara on the cover.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So the other thing I want to point out about this amazing splash page is the positions were switched, which is so cool. Instead of Mark getting his ass kicked, Mark is kicking this other small Viltrumite's ass.
Yeah, instead of Nolan kicking ass, he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's such a cool twist. And not only that, but all the smaller
single picture is the same.
Are swapped. So if...
Not all of them.
No.
Not all of them are swapped, but they're all exactly the same.
Oh, I know. But if, Mark is punching the kid's face in the one, and the other one, it's Mark getting his nose punched in. Like all of those are swapped to be one for one.
They're not swapped.
What do you mean? Yeah. Mark is in the position of the Viltrumite, and Nolan is in the position of, Thrag. Like it's switched. So...
Hold on.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Mark's getting punched both times. Kick there, him there. That's true. Him getting punched there, the other guy getting punched there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not always switched.
Yeah. But it still makes sense, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Who's doing the headbutting? Like Thrag headbutts Nolan on the bottom right.
And it's backwards.
It is the backwards in that case. See, I knew some of them were.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I'm excited.
So
I'm excited to ask Ottley about doing this kind of stuff. It's so.
Do you think that this is Kirkman writes the scripts, but I'm sure Ottley has a lot of influence on. Do you think this is something that Ottley hey, I want to do some kind of a callback?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm sure look at whether he did or not, I'm sure he fucking loved doing this.
This is to me, I love anytime someone says, let me tell you the truth about where you really come from. And it's that one splash page panel.
Right.
It's the hands on the covers. These kind of throwbacks are part of the reason we love Invincible, and it's just so fun to see. So, amazing job. Love it. This next page showing just pretty much where everybody is at. We see Anissa and Ursula fighting, which is pretty cool. Alan just ripping people up. I love this little panel of Space Racer because he's shooting a Viltrumite who, what's his name?
He was in the other one too.
Yeah.
He was in 29.
Yes, but that's what I was about to say. That's Lucan.
Yeah. I still say Lucian. Yeah, Lucan
was in 29, and the other Viltrumite was actually in this issue too. But it's just cool seeing him in this, a page later, and he was in that fight.
Yeah.
But I like seeing Space Racer shooting his head off, that Viltrumite's head off, and you don't even see it.
Hawkeye moment.
Yes, totally.
Where he's not even looking where he's shooting.
Oh yeah, he's not. Yeah, that is pretty cool. The army of young Viltrumites who it just to show that there's just so many of them. And then Eve standing there on the ship, which I think is a very important scene to show.
Yeah, because she feels useless. She feels helpless.
But not only that, but that's reminding us that she is not near Nolan.
Right.
Nolan isn't coming back. She can't fix him. There's no saving her. Right. Or there's no saving him. She can't help out. So that, we always talk about, Eve can just zap, fix that. Oh, you're alive. Oh, you're alive. Not if she's not there.
Right.
So that was a very smart way to get Eve out of the fight and to take her powers out of the fight. Yeah. I love that. So
she can't control the powers, though. She would have to die.
Well, no, it's under extreme stress.
Right.
The first time she does it to save her mom or to avenge her mom.
But I don't think that she can just do it whenever she wants.
She wasn't even injured.
You think that she would save Nolan if...
In Invincible Presents, she's perfectly fine. Her mom was just killed in front of her, and she does it.
You think that she would be able to save
In this case, I don't know if I'd say she was able
anybody
to.
by seeing them die? That if she loves them, she can just bring them back.
If it's powerful enough, yes, because it's literally in the comic. Otherwise, I'd say no.
I don't know.
I know, but that's when it comes down to Eve's powers. Either way, I think it was smart to get her out of the fight for this reason alone. So. This next page is so hard. This was probably the hardest.
Ottley, look at this blood. It's so good.
This was probably the hardest page to watch. Even harder than the actual moment he kills him, because seeing Thrag punch through Nolan's wrist and his own blood splattering on his face, and then Nolan goes to punch Thrag, and Thrag just kind of moves his head a little to the side, and it just. I mean, this is what those young Viltrumites looked like fighting all of them 2 issues ago.
Yeah.
He's just falling apart against Thrag.
This is such a badass part of Thrag, where he's Nolan's talking shit, and he dodges a punch, and then he just takes a punch, from Nolan.
Yeah.
And he just he's cute. He says cute. And just takes the punch, and
it looks
Nolan's
like he uses his head.
Hand just disintegrates.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Because this was kind of the moment that I'm like, oh no. I mean, one of Nolan's eyes is bloodshot, and
I was actually really nervous for Invincible. A lot of this comic, I was thinking
Really?
that he might die.
Really.
Yeah.
This moment, Mark says, "Dad." And Thrag says, "Still no regrets," as he's holding his hand to his head. That was so hard. This whole page, I really thought that was it. But seeing Mark just cut in to save him,
Right.
that was, like you were saying, maybe he wasn't going to die. This was the pause that I had. This was that moment.
This made me even more scared for Invincible. I thought it was going to be I was a little scared for Invincible here, or for Nolan here. I thought maybe something would happen. I didn't think he was going to die, though. And then when Invincible tackled Thrag, I was like, oh shit, Nolan needs to get his son the fuck out of there or do something, you know what I mean? Because if Nolan can't stand up to him, I don't know if Invincible can.
Yeah. Yep. Thrag just throws him, he just tosses him aside and goes back to Nolan to finish him off.
Yeah.
Mark gets overwhelmed by more Viltrumites. And I love how as Thrag is coming at Nolan headbutts him and smashes his nose in.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a final, he got his final hit in, even though he doesn't have hands. One arm is broken, one hand is smashed. He uses his head in a famous headbutt. Mm-hmm. We've got famous Invincible or Viltrumite headbutts and Viltrumite, fist through the guts. And then Nolan or Thrag does it. He puts his arm through Nolan's chest. Now, in this moment,
I came back to all of our previous conversations that we've had on this podcast.
Yes,
where we talk about
issue 76 during the Viltrumite War. Thrag does this to Nolan, and he puts his arm through him, and then he leaves him.
It's happened a couple times throughout the series.
Yeah,
we talked about it with Oliver.
Yeah, and he leaves him floating in space. And I went back and looked at that issue earlier today to kind of see, what happens in it. And it's very, very clear that it's his abdomen, it's his guts, it's his lower, belly,
right,
in issue 76. And you even see guts floating around the wound a little bit, and then he's out in space and he's drifting there for a little bit. And Thrag says, "Oh, we don't want to kill them. We want to leave them to help repopulate."
Right.
And that whole thing happens. So, as we find out on the next page here,
the thing is that I thought that when I saw this, we've talked about this before. Are they really dead or whatnot? This is where I was like, oh shit, he is dead, because they talk about it. They make it clear. He says, "Impressive. Mm-hmm. You moved at the last minute, protecting your heart.
Yep.
A lesson you should have taught your son."
Yes. So there it is, everybody.
So
I love that. There you go.
Right.
It kind of sucks that they had to spell it out for us, but there it is.
They did, though.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
So
So there we go.
Bravo to that. So that kind of
like
left
I said,
it to where
issue
I was
76, it's his guts.
why would they lay it out like that if he's not actually dead?
Oh, no,
You know what
he
I mean?
has to be dead.
So
Well, right there we see, you protected your heart. And I love seeing,
it'll take more than that too, and then he cuts him in half.
He basically cuts him in half. I mean, his heart's gone, right? I mean, I don't think there's any coming back from this.
I don't either.
I think that
we knew that this was going to happen.
Yes, I think that it's this plus the fact that the letters column starts with Sean Makowitz saying that in war there are casualties. We're halfway through, and you can expect some more.
So I turn the page after this, and it's Invincible looking up, crying, screaming, and I stopped at that page. I put it down and I walked away. Mm-hmm. And I waited like 15 minutes the whole time. I'm thinking like,
there's more? You thought there was more?
I came back, turned the page, and it was the fucking letters column. I was so fucking mad. I was so mad.
I had no doubt this is how it was going to end. No, I knew it. I turned right away after seeing Mark's face, expecting the letters column. So, I don't know. Is this Mark's breaking point? We've talked in the past.
Yes,
and we keep saying Eve's gonna die and he's gonna snap. Eve's gonna die and he's gonna snap. Is Nolan the one that can cause him to snap?
Yes.
I don't think
he's snapped for much less than his father dying.
Yeah.
This whole series has been about his relationship with his father. Like
from the very beginning.
And
that's why I want to talk about Nolan a lot more next episode when we get all 5 of us together. Like Nolan literally is the beginning of this comic. And so this whole, like, you tell somebody about what is Invincible about. It's about the son of the world's greatest superhero.
I feel like this entire series is Mark's origin. It's not just like his story. Like, this is his Uncle Ben dying. You know what I mean? This is going to change him.
Yeah.
This really is going to change his entire character.
Yeah.
For the last, 6 issues? Mm-hmm. Or 5 issues?
6 issues. 6. This is the halfway point. 6 and 6.
39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Oh, yeah, you count 44. That's right. It's going to change him.
That's why I think that moment where he looked at Eve, both in this issue and last issue, was super important. I think that it's never going to be the same for him after this, and rightfully so. I mean, it's brutal, man. So, is there a chance Nolan isn't dead in your mind?
Yes, but it's very small.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like it.
I
feel like
don't think I would like it either.
And
it needs to happen. We were expecting it to happen because it should happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what was I going to say? Oh, Thrag. Now, the last time, when I went back to reread issue 76, the last time Mark and Nolan faced off with Thrag and Thrag got stabbed, do you remember in that issue when it was Alan and Space Racer take off during the fight, and it's just Thrag versus Mark and Nolan, and Mark and Nolan look at each other and they talk to each other saying, "We can't beat him."
Yeah.
Thrag
we
is
only have
a
matter of time. We have to get away.
Yes, and Nolan says, I want you to know, whatever happens, I always loved you. Mm-hmm. And it was a really good scene. And then Thrag fucks him up and chooses to let them live.
Right.
Who can beat Thrag? Can he be beat in this universe right now? What will it take?
Scourge virus.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking back, and I'm trying to remember what issue. I didn't write it down. Oh, no, I did. Issue 102. All the Viltrumites gang up on him on the moon when they find out that he's not, that Nolan is the heir to Argol.
Yeah.
And they beat him up and they beat him. And Nolan has to stop them from killing him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that was
I feel like he's gotten stronger.
I agree. And that was 5-6 Viltrumites, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And that was 6-on-1. Thrag's got an army. There's Ragnar's. There's a lot going on. Rex is about to enter the fight. And you're right. He's probably gotten stronger. So, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to bring him down.
Yep.
I don't know. It's crazy, though. We need to read the next time on. I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I think we need to call Bill for that, because Bill always does the next times on.
If we must.
All right. Let's call Bill. Hey, Bill, you're on the Invincible podcast.
Oh, hey, everyone.
Bill, in one sentence, what did you think of this issue?
Devastating.
Okay, bye.
All right, that was good. No, you had a whole sentence and you came up with one word. No, it was a good word.
You said one word. You said it in one word.
Oh, did I? I thought I said in one sentence.
No, he said in one
Devastatingly
sentence.
devastating.
Yeah.
And sad.
He said one
Oh,
sentence.
man. We'll hear more about what you thought of it and what Liz thought about it in 2 weeks.
And Brittany.
Well, Liz has officially read one issue, so she read 133. 133, yeah, 133.
Oh, man. Oliver's funeral.
Yeah.
So we need you to read the next time on, because you always do the next time on.
So, the next issue. What's the next issue? What's the number?
Next issue is 139.
Okay, all right. So, the end of all things, Part 7. Alliances shifts as the battle rages on. It's the biggest, most brutal, most monumental battle in Invincible history.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Hey, you got it, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Did you see
Did you see it?
the
Devil of the Deep. The
white whale? Wow, man, I haven't seen Page Master in a while.
Page Master. So good. Oh.
Shout out to Twitter on Twitter. Tommy Loudon, he brought up these next issue previews, and he was talking about how, what was it? One of them said, I think it's the next issue, says Thrag does the unthinkable again. Shit. Isn't that terrifying?
Yeah.
If this was the unthinkable and he does this again, who's it going to be? It can't be Eve. It better not be Eve.
It's not gonna be Eve.
It can't be. I'm thinking Alan.
No.
Dude, that'd be
It
the
has
unthinkable.
to be Alan versus. We have to get an Alan versus Thrag fight.
And we will. And
That's like a fucking Dumbledore versus Voldemort
we
some
will.
shit,
What
man.
if, what if,
you gotta see
what
that
if
shit.
it's Alan versus Thrag?
Alan
Thrag
could beat him.
Thrag wins,
No
but
way.
Thrag is so messed up that Ursula comes on and finishes him off.
I'd hate that.
Yeah, that
He
would
killed
kinda suck.
Nolan. Invincible has to do the final blow.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Unless Invincible is out of commission.
No, Invincible has
The
to be
next
the
cover
one.
after this next one, the 139 cover is awesome. Anissa. But then the one after that is the one where it's just Thrag and Mark.
Yeah.
Not to mention we've got Robot coming in. Oh, Robot's on the cover of the next one too. Oh my God, he's coming into the fight. This is going to be so cool.
Yep.
This is getting so intense.
Another thing.
Go for it.
Oh no, it wasn't about the comic, so
No, go for it.
I was gonna bring up Ryan Ottley. We're coming for you. We're gonna be driving 9 hours to come see you at Boston Comic Con from Buffalo because you don't want to come to anywhere near us, so we gotta come to you.
Who would?
I don't know. We got good chicken wings though.
We do have chicken wings.
We have chicken. We don't just have chicken wings. We got Salem hot dogs. We got Ted's hot dog
I was
stand.
just talking about the hot
We
dogs
got
today.
Loganberry drink.
Loganberry is pretty good.
We have it's not just chicken wings.
We've got some
Buffalo
good stuff in
has
Western
like
New York.
the best food in
It
America.
really does. That's kind of what we're known for. One of the only things. That and some water falling over
So
some.
come to
I
like
don't know.
Niagara Falls Comic Con, Ottley.
Oh my God.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. All right. We've got a couple fan letters we want to read, some fan reactions, if you will. I'm going to kick them off with Jordan Gilbert. Although one of my favorite characters died this issue, I gotta say it was phenomenal. From start to finish, I was on the edge of my seat and low-key scared to read this issue. I love the fight scenes from start to finish. I like how we got more of an explanation of Robot's motives last issue. And I'm still on the fence with him, but for now, at least he has good intentions. Shit is gonna get real next issue when he shows up. The double-page splash that was on pages 14 and 15 was a nice callback to issue 29, when Mark was helping Nolan fight the 3 Viltrumites on the Thraxans planet when he was the ruler. We forgot the name of that planet. We could have just looked at your email, Jordan. When I saw that bloody hand in front of Nolan's face, I knew he was going to bite the dust. You guys were right again, damn you. It was interesting how Thrag gave me more of an insight in how easily he killed Oliver. He hit his heart, and Nolan had moved last second. Makes more sense. The last page of Mark tearing up was heartbreaking. Dude lost his brother and now his dad. By the end of the series, the dude is gonna go apeshit crazy. Should have seen this coming from a mile away since he had the heart-to-heart with his dad last issue. I was gonna bring that up.
Heart.
Oh, I'm
Too
scared
soon.
I'm scared for what's to come. Mark will probably retaliate in an unexpected way, leading Thrag to do something even more savage in 140, and something even worse is going to happen in 141. I want to hate Thrag, but he is such a well-written villain, I can't. Rest in peace, Nolan Grayson. As always, sorry if this was a tad bit long. Love always, Jordan. Thanks, Jordan. And yeah, he finally had that moment with Nolan about Anissa.
Yeah.
Like, that
like
should have been another
father-son
sure,
moment.
yeah, that should have been another sure sign to get that out in the open. That was the last. If he would have died, because there are so many times that Anissa comes up to him or something happens and Nolan's like, "What's going on with you two?"
Yeah.
If Nolan would have died and we never got that resolution, but we got it. Oh, what's Robot got to think? I just now realized, like, if Nolan's dead, Rex shows up. They're friends. Like,
Yeah.
they made that friendship. They made a point to say, like, Nolan made a point to say he was friends with
Right.
him.
Oh yeah, they're
That's
friends.
when I
They're for
predicted
sure they're
that
friends.
Rex
They
was gonna kill him.
they worked together the entire time that Invincible was away.
Yeah. So this is
But I don't think that they're going to make a huge deal about it.
about his reaction.
About Robot's reaction.
Really?
Right. I think that we might see him giving a speech, like his Nolan's
entrance?
funeral opens up on Rex giving a speech or something
Maybe.
like that. Like we might not get like a full reaction out of Rex, but we will get something. But it's not going to be like they're not going to make a big deal about it.
Okay. And you've got
We have another one from Niall. Jeez, Niall.
Man.
Ridiculous. Wow, that was intense. Same fight from issue number 29, and in the last corner on the bottom right of the page, you could tell who the victor would be.
Oh, that's another
Absolutely
cool thing.
fantastic artwork from Ottley as usual. What really threw me off was when Nolan threw a punch at Thrag, and Thrag went into it, breaking Nolan's fist. Right then and there, I lost hope. I knew this would be the end of him. And then Thrag grips Nolan by the neck, and I thought the next page would just be a hole through Nolan's head. But sure enough, Invincible saves us readers by prolonging the inevitable. I'm really happy that happened because I honestly don't know how I would have reacted if I just saw Nolan's head blown off flying through space like that. I mean, I know Kirkman gives his readers no warnings, but that's some straight George R.R. Martin shit if that happened. By the way, huge props to Mark. He fought 3 elite guards out of like 20 during that whole panel. Absolutely have no clue what will happen next issue with Mark. Enraged by his father's death, either he dies or he goes toe-to-toe with Thrag and wins. And I don't see the second one happening. I think Robot will come through with the Scourge virus missile, and kill everyone in space he finds as a threat.
Oh,
It
man.
is called the end of all things.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's issue 100. What they promised us.
The death
Everyone
of everyone.
dies. Yeah.
Niall brought up something during that. Oh yeah, when it looked like he was going to knock Nolan's head off, that would have bothered me so much. There's something about like decapitation that's so much worse than just ripping someone in half. Like that would have been so unsettling and like just almost too disgusting. Like even though obviously it's super disgusting seeing somebody cut in half, but at the same time, man, that would have been too brutal. Oh, I couldn't imagine that. Yeah. So that does it. Thanks everybody for writing in. Again,
Hey.
you can.
Let's go talk to our friends over at Nerds Chatting.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oi!
Oi.
Oi! Oi!
Oi. Yeah. Ben and Nate from the Nerds Chatting Podcast graced us with their presence a few weeks ago. So that was before this issue came out. So obviously we're not going to be talking about what happened in this issue. But this was our first international chat.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We were very tired because
were super tired.
we had to do it at, what was it, 7 in the morning we recorded this? I think it was like
man.
7 in the morning,
I think
and it
we
was
started
noon
at
there.
7, which means you guys had to wake up at like 6 in the morning to get over here. But that's all right.
Yeah.
It was worth
I mean,
it.
I'm used to waking up that early.
So
but
we probably sound a little tired.
Yeah.
And
Definitely different tones
The
in our
audio
voices.
might be a little
different.
But it was a great chat, and we had a really good time talking to them.
This also takes place before this new issue came out, so.
That's what I just said.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I said
don't
that.
listen to you.
You really don't. But go give Nerds Chatting a follow on Twitter. Go listen to their podcast. They do a weekly show all about. I mean, they're going to talk about it in a second, so you'll hear. But they're really great guys, and you
And
should
they're
go
like
check them out.
Batman, so they're cool.
They're like Batman.
They like Batman.
Oh, they do like Batman. Yeah, I thought you said they're like Batman. I was going to say
They're kind of like Batman. Aren't we all kind of like Batman?
Everybody has a little Batman in
I
them.
am Batman. Shh, don't tell anybody.
All right, welcome back. You might know our guests from their daily Invincible cover posts over on Twitter, but we're sitting down with the guys from the NerdsChatting Podcast. So, welcome to the show, Ben and Nate.
Hello.
We should probably specify, actually. Ben, welcome to the show.
Hello.
And
Sorry, I'm trying to tweet something, and I'm trying to multitask, and it's not working. I'll be in the room. I'm in the room.
No, it's cool. And then Nate.
Least professional podcaster on the planet.
So, a couple things that I want to point out before we start. This is the first time we're ever recording with 5 people, so we're going to try not to really step on each other's toes. So,
By step on each other's toes, you mean interrupt each other like I just did?
yes. Another important thing is we're actually recording this well in advance to when we're going to release it. So any crazy Invincible news that comes out, especially out of San Diego Comic-Con, we don't know about. So
We're actually recording like 4 days after 137 came out.
Yeah, so
if
we don't
138 comes out, which I'm sure by this time that you're hearing this probably did happen, we're kind of traveling back in time 3-4 weeks.
that's right. But that's right, because it's worth it. Because we're recording really early in the morning, because we're recording with you guys you're our first international guests.
That's cool. That's very, very cool. I feel honored.
That's an honor, right? That
Yeah.
feels like an honor. Feels like an honor.
And if we can't tell, I mean, you guys are from England, correct?
We are from a county called Devon, and we're actually in a little town called Oakhampton at the minute.
That means absolutely nothing to anyone listening to this right now.
They might be interested. Some context,
Okay, fine. Context, yeah.
There might be somebody out there, who knows?
Yeah.
So kind of getting into it a little bit, first off, speaking of like England, is there what are the major differences as far as nerd culture? I mean, you guys do a nerd podcast about comics, TV shows, movies, and everything like that. What are the major differences, especially when it comes to getting your comics? Is anything different?
Yeah, it's definitely. I would say it's a lot more niche here. I mean, it's getting bigger. I mean, things like obviously the massive superhero movies that are out, the DCEU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, that's helped. I mean, we work in Exeter, which is a city down the road from here, and there was one time when it had 3 comic book stores in it, which was huge for us, but that's not normal for the UK. I would say, if you're looking for a comic book store, you're only going to get ones in the cities and
Big cities.
and so we were blessed with that, really, with the amount we had. But generally, it's a smaller scale thing, and our listeners aren't necessarily local to us. A lot of our listeners are sort of more national, really, and they're across the whole of the UK. I mean,
and we've got some listeners in the States and Canada as well.
Absolutely, but what I mean was, it wasn't just that we were blessed with those 3 comic book stores here. It's that they're everywhere. So yeah, I would say, I mean, having not been to America many times, I've been to New York. I would say it's probably more, it's smaller scale here. What with everything,
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would say. Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, Ben, go.
Okay.
Such manners,
Yeah.
right?
Pipe down, TJ. I'm talking right now.
Okay, all right.
One thing I would say is that being in the UK, sometimes if there are any delays in comic books for whatever reason, we will feel that delay. So, for example, recently, Rebirth Batman number 24, I think it was. There was a slight, I think it came out in the States, and then there was a delay for some reason. And I only picked that comic up this week at the same time as number 25 came out as well. So I don't know what that delay was. It was a strange thing, but little things like that will in the UK we'll feel it a little bit more. But it's okay, Also, we couldn't easily get our hands on the lenticular cover of the button because it had the smiley face on the front, and there's some kind of
there's EU law or something.
There's some kind of someone's got the rights to it, and you can't have that on a comic book cover in the UK or something weird. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't care because I get my comics digitally, so
There you go. Okay. I always get chastised for that, but I get to read the shit, so.
Yeah, and the storage space is the thing for me. Like, there was a time where I was getting, stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff, and I was like, well, I cannot keep this in the house. I cannot do it. I have to cut down, and so digitally it is.
Yeah, I've cut down on a lot. I mean, I mostly just get hard copies of, obviously Invincible and a few Kirkman titles, then major issues, like I really want to get like issue 1 of something or so on, and then just to try it out, and then I'll keep picking it up digitally.
Yeah.
I really just get Invincible and all things Batman.
Nice.
Which is like
good choice.
18,000
still
comics.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's still a lot.
So,
And Saga.
and Saga. Ooh,
Oh
Saga.
yeah.
Which one of you guys started reading Invincible first? Because one of you told somebody else to, right? So Nate, you were reading, and then you told Ben.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. I started reading. I read it a few years back now. I mean, this seems to be the same. This sort of the pattern of our relationship is that I'll like dive headfirst into a comic book series and read like 100 issues, and just come to Ben and go, Ben, why are you not reading this? You're an idiot.
I'm reading Batman.
Yeah, so Nate started reading first, and he went on at me for about 6 months, maybe longer, to just say, look, I know you like The Walking Dead, just pick this comic book up and read it, and I promise you'll like it. I was like, yeah, I will, I'll get to it. I've got so much going on, I'll get to it. So I picked up, I think I just went straight in and bought the first compendium.
Yeah, I think
that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to go for this, I'll give it a good solid try with a lot of issues and see how it goes. And then literally, I just like, oh my God, flipped through that, inhaled that, went out and bought the second compendium. Then I got trades.
Yeah.
And then I got single issues. And I caught up as quickly as I could. But I think it's a comic book that, whilst you can, obviously anyone can read it single issue and then really enjoy it, I think it's definitely worth, when it finishes, going back and doing the whole thing again, and you get so much from it. It's unbelievable. If you've got time, of course, if you've got time.
very
I
much
want to say, guys. Oh, sorry, Bill.
No.
I was going to say the reason I started reading it was I had sort of got to a lull in comics in sort of what was new and interesting to me. So I went back and tried to find some stuff, and I was reading Mark Waid's Irredeemable. I know you guys have read that. Mm-hmm. And then he did a spin-off which was Incorruptible. And my I don't know, anyone that listens to the show will know that my real passion is Superman. And so Irredeemable is it's a twist on that. It's a little bit of a Mark Miller type what if. And the idea is, what if Superman was a bad guy or turned to a bad guy? And then sort of spinning out of that, I was like, well, I need more of this. I need to know. I want some more examples. And so Invincible has that. Those first 6 issues is almost got that what if of Invincible. With that what if the DC universe or the Marvel universe looked a certain different way, and that's kind of why I got into it and tried it that way. And then obviously the changes are far and wide. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Do you guys read Walking Dead? And did you read? I think you do. You do read Walking Dead, right?
I read Walking Dead. Yeah, I do.
I don't.
So Nate,
although I have read the first 45 issues of it, but I haven't read any more.
So you actually started Invincible not with, like, most people that we have on like fan spotlights and stuff talk to us about how they started reading Walking Dead and got to know Robert Kirkman's writing and then reached out to Invincible. So it's kind of cool that you just picked up Invincible right from the start, not knowing anything about Robert Kirkman, and then just started from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously I'd heard his name because he's like one of the one of those guys that split off and did their own thing, and yeah, he's like obviously a massive famous name. But yeah, I hadn't been into Walking Dead. My heart is always in superhero comics, so I was like, give me some more of that. Like, who is this dude that's Invincible? What is going on here? What is this? So yeah.
Yeah, it was always the writing. I think the writing was what really got us in. I mean, obviously we did find it through The Walking Dead as well, but what really stuck was like, this is something different. This is like, characters are dying, things are changing in ways that it's not a normal comic. And
that Nate, you were just saying you were reading like Superman and how it was it the Soviet one where like he landed in?
Oh no, not Red Sun. No.
Okay.
That's so that yeah, you're right that's Mark Miller doing a what if Superman story, where what if Superman was the bad guy. But it's Mark Waid did a whole run called Irredeemable about a character called the Plutonian who basically has the same powers as Superman. And
he loses his mind.
Yeah, what happens is like he's a reporter just like Clark Kent, and he's in love with this woman that's a bit like Lois, and he one day turns around and goes, oh look, let's call her Lois, I can't remember her name. He turns around and says, oh look, I'm actually he turns around and says, I'm actually the Plutonian and I'm in love with you, and she's like, you've been lying to me for the last 10 years. I don't trust you at all. You're a monster. Get away from me. And he like loses it and goes, oh my God, what? And then just turns into a bad guy and starts just destroying cities and things. So there's the parallels with Nolan obviously being, you know, Superman. I did air quotes. People can't see that I'm doing air quotes. But, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to. Sorry. Just one more thing I wanted to say. I'm so sorry. We keep talking over each other.
So rude.
I know. It's so rude. Well, you're talking about the writing and the depth of the characters. I want to talk about 1-3. What are we on? What's this issue?
137.
Which,
Yeah,
even
137.
though this discussion's going to end up going up on the 138, we'll talk a little bit about 137.
Sure. So we've just read 137, and Ben and I recorded a podcast on Thursday this week, and you'd read it and I hadn't. And I said, "Oh, what was it like?" And you said, "Oh, it's a bit of setup for stuff coming on." I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
But it was great.
Yeah. Your explanation was right. There's not a lot of big action, whatever. It was all set up. But I read it then, and I was like, "Yeah, but that's what I love about it."
Yeah.
For me, it gave me all this character depth and all this story, and it did it in like 6 panels, and it was great. It was just that's why I love Invincible, because it's so rich with characters.
Emperor Robot as well, playing the long game in the final 2 pages. Love it. Love that guy.
I mean, also with 136, we just got like a ridiculous fight issue.
Sure.
So
And that's something
it was satisfying.
that I brought up on our 137 discussion, which is this 137 felt like old Invincible, where it's several points of view, it's several storylines going on, you're seeing multiple characters, and we're seeing, classic villains coming back, and even if it's just small little things, those little things and that universe, I mean, they even had a spin-off series called Invincible Universe because it's so deep and rich. I feel like that kind of came back in 137, and that had been missing for a long time. It's been very much Mark's point of view, or a little bit of Thrag's point of view, for the last 6 to 8, maybe even more issues. And it was nice to get back to Earth and see more of those characters. So I'm hoping that keeps going in 138.
8.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how it seems like the series has actually, because I was worried, and we talked about it, I don't know if you guys listen avidly or not, but we had talked about how it's going to feel rushed. You know what I mean? And I feel I feel like the first couple issues did kind of feel a little rushed of this new arc
like Oliver and the wedding and
wedding and back, like it felt very rushed, but this
100% agree.
Yeah,
100% agree.
The first issue of The End of All Things felt almost like a montage issue.
Yeah.
They were putting in so many things just to get them to the certain point where, like, right, now we're going to go for it. And it was just like, I wish they'd spread that out over 6 issues maybe, and then gone into that The End of All Things. That's what I said when I emailed into you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt.
emailed in.
I don't know. It feels almost as if they're slowing down in the middle of this arc, which is surprising. But I love we were reading 137. You're saying they're taking like Nate, you said they did all this stuff, but one panel per story, but it didn't feel rushed. It was perfect. Tara was in it. Tara and Debbie were in it for 2 panels, and it was amazing. But that's all you needed, So they're taking like their time to set it up, as you said, but it doesn't feel like setup. It feels like perfect Invincible, and I hope that this pace, because we still got a lot left.
Well,
with
at this
as much
point,
as
we
we've
are
gotten.
halfway. When this episode goes live, we are officially halfway through the end.
Guys, it doesn't really occur to me because it's just happened so naturally, but the Viltrumites that are on Earth, like, we really care about them now, and they were the bad guys for so long.
Yep.
And
even Anissa, who is a rapist, suddenly you're like, oh my God, you actually have a vested interest in her because she's got a kid with Mark, who's just been picked up by Emperor Robot. It's like, oh my God, Mark's going to lose his mind when he finds out about this.
Yeah, we just talked about that on the new episode. I really didn't care for the whole rape issue, and I know that it's controversial.
That was harsh.
No, but I mean, we talked on the new issue episode of 137 about I mean, I never really liked Anessa. You're not supposed to, but I didn't like her even beyond that, like more than I'm not supposed. I just don't really never like the character, but I'm starting to like her now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is funny because you actually said verbatim, Ryan, should we like Anissa right now, or is it okay to like Anissa after everything that had happened? And I think, again, that's just like a testament to the writing. And there was only 4 panels that she was in, and we all of a sudden like her. We're like, okay.
Sudden, we're okay with her all of a sudden. Now, one thing that we didn't bring up in our 137 discussion that I think is pretty important is Lucan, the one who, speaking of Invincibles or Viltrumites who were once bad, he was the one that attacked Mark on the planet where Thraxa. Thank you. He's been in this forever, and now all of a sudden, yes,
and Bruce Almighty and all these other things.
Lucan, yeah.
Lucan, he's got a son, and I love the conversation where his son says, okay, next time I'll just let them hit me until they break their hand. Lucan's son has powers.
Yeah.
So is Mark an anomaly? Was Mark a late bloomer?
Well, no, but what? Okay.
Yes,
I think he must have been. Oh no, yeah, that is right. I was just going to say that Oliver had powers early as well, didn't he? But Oliver was a Viltrumite and a Thraxan, so yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That's not something I should bring up right now. Yeah, he must have been an anomaly, I guess.
But is Mark stronger than most?
Well, there's the whole thing where Eve sort of put him back together again, didn't she, with her powers, and she made him a bit stronger.
Sure.
A bit stronger. I'm doing air quotes again. Yeah. But who knows actually how much stronger. And of course, he did struggle to put down that Viltrumite Thraxan offspring of Thrags a couple of issues back. So I don't know if he's stronger, or just a little bit stronger and just out of practice. I don't know.
In 136, they were taking out some people pretty easily. I mean, they took out millions of people.
Well, I think Mark is stronger than your basic Viltrumite because he's had more practice. There was the one, what was it, before issue 50? Or no, it was before issue 100 happened. Wait, when does the White Room happen? What issue was that? Was that 50?
50.
The big thing with Cecil was
50, where he was working out and he had that huge hydraulic press and stuff like that he was you know, so he's strengthened himself up quite a bit, and he could stand his own. And I think the reason why he was having some trouble with Anand and Ursula was because he was distracted. He was letting Anand kind of, because he was trying to get to Eve the whole time.
And protect Terra.
Yeah, and protect Terra. So,
yeah. But, I mean, do these Invincible kids have powers?
They will.
I mean, because Lucan's son already does, and he's pretty young. Will Marky have powers? Because, Marky is roughly the same age as Terra, isn't he?
I don't even know if it's, necessarily an anomaly thing. Some people get it early, some people don't. I think, probably.
Mark was 16.
But, you're just now going through puberty. You know what I mean? I went through puberty at, a normal age. At the age of,
true.
You know what I mean?
So, 45 is late for puberty.
Last year was a big year for me. I got married, I hit puberty. It was huge.
Yeah.
But I think it's essentially kind of comparable to that. You know what I mean? It's just...
I definitely agree. It's just, I think the age gap between someone like Lucan's son and Terra is pretty huge compared to Mark when he got his. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because now Robot's taken all these kids and, we might know what happened when you're listening to this, but, do any of these kids have powers? We know Lucan's son does. So that's another interesting fact.
What do you guys think?
Well, I think they definitely have powers. I also think that Terra is going to be the most powerful being in the universe because she's going to have the combination of Viltrumite powers and Eve's atom-shifting powers as well. So she's going to be... I think she might turn out to be the savior of everyone because she'll somehow get herself to Earth and she'll save everyone from Thrag. I don't know, though. I'm speculating wildly.
Terra's the key, and the fact that she's named after Earth is important, and
agreed.
And they're going back to Earth. There's something there, and the fact that Eve's powers are they're linked in some way to that. I don't know. There's something about that. Terra's the key. The kids, are they important? I don't know. Or is it just showing that they're integrating?
The fact that Marky, Anissa's kid that she had with Mark, has just been taken by Robot. That's going to come into it because Anissa's going to, when she finds out about that, she's going to go to Mark and say, look, our son has been kidnapped. Mark's going to completely lose his shit and probably the plan that they had is going to go out the window because Mark's probably going to rush head in to try and save his kid that he didn't even know he had.
I agree with what you were saying earlier about not liking the rape storyline and that stuff. That I agree. It didn't.
That was terrible.
Didn't sit well with me. But what I did think coming out of that was good was that Mark was honest about it with everyone. I hate it in comics or any medium, a TV and movie, when people are like, "This horrible thing happened, but I'm not going to tell you because reasons."
Yeah,
no reason you can come up with.
Yeah,
it's like when he then told Eve, and then he's just told his father and stuff. I was like, yes. He would show that he's upset about it because in this world, in this brilliant comic that we read, these are normal, rounded human beings or creatures.
Yeah.
And they do have those emotions. They would express those emotions. He wouldn't just go like, oh, didn't happen.
Yeah, they wouldn't keep it all in because they have to be strong and heroic.
Yeah, no,
they wouldn't do that.
And that's what I did enjoy coming out of that they showed him as a fully rounded person.
Well, that again is Kirkman's writing. The guy is a twisted genius, and he just writes from the heart. He writes things that a human goes through and in this situation would probably actually react in that sort of way. I love the guy. I can't believe he's finishing this comic. What is going on?
I know. Did you have something?
Oh yeah, I just going back to what we were saying about the whether the kids will have powers or not. I don't see, like, in the next issue, Robot has these children. I don't see it not being some kind of an issue with him. I think that they're going to have powers. Like, there's still going to be story progression. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to fight back a little bit, and yeah, I don't think that they're going to stand a chance against Robot.
No.
Like we were talking before on the new issue of 137 about how, Robot is smart enough, and he's had 6 years. He knows that the Vultramites are all over Earth. He has a plan to take down Vultramites.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, he knows their weakness, doesn't he? Which is their inner ear. Once that inner ear balance gets messed with, they're incapacitated almost, aren't they? So, and all of his robot drones, those big hulking sort of dark grey,
the ones that are
plated. They're all equipped with that Viltrumite anti-ear ray. I don't know what I'm saying.
I know you guys have got like some encyclopedic knowledge of Invincible. It's incredible when I've listened to you guys. I'm like, what? And but like sitting here talking to you just makes me I'm listening to everyone. I'm not zoning out, but I'm also in the back of my head going, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. Like loads of stuff. Is it Devil Dinosaur? Is that what he was called? No, what was he? Dinosaurus. Yeah, like all that storyline with him and Las Vegas and. Oh man, I'm going back in my head like some great stuff.
This is a question I was going to ask you guys. I haven't listened to your 137 issue yet. Obviously, by the time that people are hearing this, I would have heard it.
Unacceptable.
What is your favourite sort of arc of all the Invincible arcs that we've had so far?
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about this.
I'll go first. Obviously, I don't know how much of us you've listened to. My favorite villain of all time is Angstrom Levy. So like around like the 132 to 135-ish issues, like my favorite single issue of Invincible, I actually have an original art page from it, is when Angstrom is throwing Mark through all the different dimensions.
Oh yes, that's an amazing story.
And that's just insane. Like him coming home and finding Angstrom sitting with Debbie and Oliver, and that was just an insane story arc. That's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Right. I feel like
you have to say.
I feel like it has to be Conquest.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be Conquest for several reasons. That's kind of like saying Mark is your favorite character,
or Shawshank is your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, good.
It just kind of has to be. It had everything. So special shout outs to issue 59. I love Powerplex. I love the writing in that issue. Any issue to me that really changes the pace and feels different. I forgot which issue number it is. It's Mark and Eve on the cover, but it's the one where they do the 16 panel pages throughout the entire issue. I love the feel of that issue. You guys just did during your Daily Invincible cover on Twitter, you guys posted the Africa storyline, and I thought about the Africa arc, which again kind of ties into the Angstrom arc. Just the fact that he goes to Africa, everything about that storyline, the reason why Eve is there, it's such a different superhero storyline. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go do something, real and meaningful with these powers, something that I think that actually can make a real change. Mark and the whole love triangle, bringing Amber there, the way Eve reacts to Amber being there.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
Right? It's so.
Yeah.
Writing is so good. Like Mark and Eve sitting on the rooftop talking about how people without powers will never understand him. And that's obviously the foreshadowing of their relationship. Mark getting the call. I mean, remember Mark flying and Amber not being able to breathe? And then obviously getting the call and going to Angstrom. And then obviously the return to Africa and kissing Eve. There's so much of the little things about Invincible, but if I had to pick one arc, I think it has to be Conquest. And shout out to Reboot. I loved Reboot. I know some people don't really care for it, but I felt.
I love Reboot. Yeah, Reboot was great. I was it excited me. I was like, oh, this is different. It's a cool version of it. What are we gonna do? You know?
Do you know what the guys call the weird light thing, the spaghetti monster? Spaghetti monster. Is that right? What you call it, guys?
Spaghetti monster.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's spot on.
Before Bill. Ryan got a shout out. I want a shout out too.
Okay, shit.
The Invincible War, I feel like is very underrated.
How am I gonna pick when you guys are listing everything and be like, one of those?
Angstrom Levy was a big part of that too, and just seeing all the different Invincibles from all the different dimensions, I thought was awesome. And the death of Rexplode, and then it went right into Conquest. It led right into Conquest.
Yeah.
I love the Invincible War too.
All right, so I love when they because Kirkman flips everything upside down and makes you, question comics and stuff like that. But when they take a ridiculous character and make it someone who you love for real reasons, like Battle Beast. Why does everybody love Battle Beast, right?
Yeah, it's great.
But he's ridiculous, but you still fucking love him.
Lion guy.
Right? Yeah, he's just a lion guy. Dinosaurus. He's a giant dinosaur, but
he's amazing though.
Dude, I love the Dinosaurus arc, and I love everything where he smashes Mark's head, their whole plan, and then when he
goes on the ship,
comes back and fucking rescues Mark and fights Thrag, and remember he just gets annihilated, he fucking slices Thrag and his fingers break. And he was still gurgling. He's like, "That's all part of the plan." And then the ship starts blowing up, and he rescues Mark. Just all of that, and then him sacrificing himself, knowing that he's never going to stop, and he's done the good that he wants to do. And this is coming from a giant dinosaur creature.
Giant red dinosaur. It just doesn't.
At that point, it's elevated the appearance of this dinosaur. He's a character.
Yeah.
And
that's insane. I remember the cover with Mark having the big metal leg brace, and he's fighting some dinosaur creature. You were like, this is going to be stupid. He's fighting a dinosaur.
What happened?
I remember you. Didn't you not like dinosaurs, or you didn't think you were going to because it just looked dumb?
Well, I know we're all talking about how awesome Dinosaurus was, but I will admit I didn't really care for Dinosaurus as much. But I don't remember saying that about.
You did.
And not looking cool.
You did. Photographic memory. Bruce Almighty was filmed in Buffalo.
You have the worst memory I've ever had out of anybody I've ever known. But no, I didn't care for Dinosaurus as much. I thought it was all right. Just all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys go. What do you think?
I really love the story, the arc where Robot and I'm going to get all the names wrong. Monster Girl.
Oh. Yeah.
When they're trapped in the other.
Yeah.
What's the place where they're trapped?
That's with the
the Flaxon dimension.
Flaxon, yeah. But that whole thing where they come back and I was saying earlier, obviously I don't like characters keeping secrets, but where they keep the secret of the fact that they've been there for all this time and they've gone through this.
Was it 1,000 years they were there or something like that? It was crazy, wasn't it?
700 years, wasn't it?
700 years.
Yeah. And all that stuff. That was great. I really liked that.
That was kind of a cool arc too, because Ryan Ottley and Corey Walker were going back and forth between pages on the same issue. I thought that was really kind of a unique thing,
and much better reading it in its completed form.
Yeah,
it flows a lot easier, and
right.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
okay. Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say that my favourite arc is, I have to say that when Conquest shows up as well. That's when, really, for me, even though all this bad stuff had happened previously, and really horrible stuff, stuff with Nolan and, all this kind of thing, when Conquest showed up and you got an idea of how cruel the Viltrumites actually really were at their core when they wanted to do something, and they wanted to take over a planet, and they wanted to, force their will and make Mark to sort of get in line, or he was going to die, and they would do anything to do what they wanted to do. I just thought suddenly, my God, this is the comic for me. And I was already loving everything that had happened before, but it was that point for me. And I love Conquest as well. It's one of the biggest regrets I have that he was killed off, because I think he's an incredible character, because he's a sadist, and he's a disgraceful not human being, Viltrumite, but he is just so effective at what he does. He's a blunt instrument, basically. He's used to throw at someone to get that planet in line, to wipe those people out. That's what Conquest is used for. And the fact that in that little arc he says, I so very rarely get the opportunity to cut loose, but this has been great, thank you very much. It's just like, oh my God, this guy will do anything to win. I love it. And the fact that Mark defeats him, brilliant. Brilliant. So I just love it.
So you may have just answered my next question, but
okay.
Just in case, I always have to ask, who are your favorite characters out of the entire series?
Oh man, there's so many.
It could be like Ryan's favorite character is Powerplex. Like it could be something.
I mean, obviously there's Invincible and Conquest, like the big ones, but what's one that's like close to
I'm just saying it can be anybody.
Okay.
Well, I always like the bad guys. So kind of Nolan's kind of, I know he's not a good guy now, but like when he like turns, I really like that. I was like, the bad guys are the best people to love, because they get to do all the fun stuff in all mediums. I find like good guys, yeah, okay, you root for the good guy, yay, woo, you won. But like bad guys get to really let loose and be really cool and like, cackle and stuff. It's fun. It's real fun. So I like the bad guys. I would say Nolan when he turned bad.
Okay, yeah. That is good. That is good. Yeah. Well, obviously, I love Conquest. I really like the fact that Battle Beast is just exists because he wants to kill people. I don't know. I do have, and this is bad, especially with what happened in 137, and we don't know what's going to happen in 138. But I do have a little bit of a soft spot for Robot.
Nah.
Because
he's a jerk.
I know he's a jerk, but he. Well, you think from everything you've seen so far, he wants to do good. And bearing in mind that he was this sort of crippled, weird sort of baby living in like a massive incubator jar.
He was Luke Skywalker in the Bacta tank.
He was Luke Skywalker in the Bacta tank, yeah. But then he sort of, in honor of Rexplode, he sort of duplicated him and sort of
duplicate, nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, very good. That was completely unintentional. But I don't know. I think if I had to choose one of those three, I'd probably just go with Conquest, purely because he's just badass. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Easy. What's it?
What was I just about to say? I was about to say something about Robot. You mentioned Robot coming through. Yeah, he's just had an amazing story arc from everything. Oh, one of my favorite things about Robot is his relationship with Amanda, Monster Girl. Their entire thing from childhood to living with each other for over 1,000 years, longer than any other relationship has ever existed. Like, that whole dynamic, and then we currently still don't know their status. I mean, that whole relationship is amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Nate, I feel like you can pull off a Mark Grayson. Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the hair.
Pizzazz hair.
Or the physique.
I'm not. I'm really not. The camera, it makes it look very different. I've got
and Ben, you could actually pull off Conquest too.
Alan the Alien.
I think I'm more of a Cecil, I think, to be perfectly honest with you. Old and a bit middle-aged spread. There you go.
I never say Cecil. I say Cecil, but I don't know why. Why? I don't know. Is that wrong?
That's the English way of saying it.
I think I'm wrong. I think it's just wrong.
That's all right. What's even worse than that is we always say Viltrumite instead of Viltrumite.
I've been getting better at catching
people
myself.
call us on it all the time.
Yeah.
So you put like a U in it or something?
No, we just say Viltrumite.
Yeah.
We say Viltrumite.
It's a bastardization.
Which is weird because we've all done it from the start. Like, we never...
And I think because early on when we started reading it, we would talk to each other, and then one of us said it, and we just kind of kept saying it, and it ruined us.
Yeah.
So now I always stutter every time. I'm like,
it's like when you train yourself to not say bagel anymore, and you're like, bagel. It's not bagel, it's big. Viltrumite.
Yes, exactly.
Viltrumite. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to start wrapping up. Before we go, if there's anything quickly, just like off the top of your head, it could be no matter how small, just a little thing that you want to see before the very end. Like, what's something that like you want resolution on? There's that character you want to see one more time. Anything like that?
I'm gonna go to work, guys. It was great meeting you both.
Okay,
all right, finish up. Take as much time as
Nice
you
to
need.
meet you. Take care.
Bye, Bill.
Bye.
Thanks.
What do I want to see? I don't want to see this, but I think a lot of people have got to die. I don't think anyone's going to make it through that you really want. I think there's going to be... I think it's going to be a whole Game of Thrones situation, you know, where just...
So many people die.
many people are just going to be wiped out. I don't want to see that. I don't know, Ben, what do you want to see?
I think, like I said earlier on, I want to see what's going to happen with Tara, because I do think Tara is very important. So I want some kind of positive affirmation about that. I definitely want to see an end to Thrag. I want to see Thrag ripped to shreds.
He needs to go.
Completely.
I mean, do you guys think it'll happen sooner than later? I mean, we've talked a little bit about how there's still the looming threat of robot, maybe? I mean...
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe it'll be Robot and Thrag that kill each other. Maybe actually it won't even be the other guys. Maybe...
I'm interested to see how those two paths cross, actually. The whole Robot and Thrag.
Have to.
So...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm excited for... I agree. I'm excited for the Tara revelation, whatever happens with that. I mean, I can't imagine she's going to be stuck on the Coalition.
No, yeah, she'll be a bigger part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll suddenly age up? Do you reckon something will happen? Like she'll have Eve powers and she'll suddenly become a teenager or something?
Or Tara from the future will come back.
Maybe.
Oh, man, didn't think of that. One storyline... Yeah, Spaghetti Monster. That's what I was going to say, though. I want some kind of resolution with that, like the threat that the Spaghetti Monster said that, you know, you have doomed us all. You know?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Because I think...
Maybe the whole universe will end. Maybe that's it. Maybe something will reboot, like a proper reboot. Maybe it'll all just...
Like Big Bang again or something like that.
It was all a dream.
Someone actually wrote in, I forgot their name, but they wrote into us and said that perhaps something like along those lines will happen and it will kind of restart and Mark will wake up in the bathroom reading the comic book again, kind of like how Reboot started. And it's like it kind of keeps going in a cyclical kind of motion, but I don't know.
Oh, no.
But I could see that happening. I mean, you think, like, they've just obviously just greenlit the movie they're doing. You know, wouldn't it be amazing if the next iteration of this story, the canon iteration of the story, was the movie?
Yeah, very Dark Tower-esque.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The same thing with Dark Tower, where this is just kind of like another continuation of the same.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Star Trek Reboot did something similar as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think we're going to cut it off there. Thank you guys so much for coming and chatting with us. And then, again, if you guys want to talk a little bit about Nerds Chatting, I mean, feel free.
Yeah, we probably should plug it a little bit.
Should we plug our podcast at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, as we said at the top, we're Nerds Chatting. We talk about movies, TVs, and comic book. TVs? Just TVs? We
just TV sets. TV sets.
The new 4K came out.
Yeah, exactly. No, so, we're nerds. Our whole thing is that we're idiots, and most of what we say is completely wrong. And
we stand by it still anyway.
Yeah. And what we love is people to get in touch with us and tell us we're wrong and have a conversation. That's the whole point about it being Nerds Chatting. Although we're nerds chatting, we also want to chat with nerds. So that's kind of the plug, really, I would say. Find us on all the... Ben, where would they find us?
Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's just /Nerds Chatting. They'll find us.
Yeah, and thank you so much, guys, for having us on. It's really, really been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to see you guys.
Yeah, this has been great, and you guys have been awesome on Twitter. You guys, like you said, you're all about communication and chatting with other nerds and everything, and you guys have built a really fun, engaging community, and especially now that, you know, you guys are doing daily Invincible covers. Everybody should definitely go give you guys a follow and check you guys out.
Oh yeah, that's # Daily Invincible cover, by the way. If anyone's listening, it will still be going, hopefully. Yeah. Okay.
So, all right, thanks guys. Bye.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Bye.
Later.
And we're back.
Oi!
And thanks again, Ben and Nate, for joining us for our little chat about Invincible. Remember, if you want to hear their thoughts on this latest issue, they're probably going to talk about it They talk about Invincible every now and then. You should go check them out.
And they post daily Invincible covers.
We talk about that on the interview. But yes, they are doing the daily Invincible cover, which I retweet, and I'm sure you guys seen it. So yeah, go check them out. Also, don't forget, in 2 weeks we're having the End Is Near episode. We are going to be sitting down.
For
me,
the first
TJ,
time ever.
Bill, Liz, Brittany, 5 people. Way too many people for a podcast. But
it's going to be hot in here.
It's going to be so hot in here. We might have to do it somewhere else.
We might be naked. You won't know.
You won't know. You're not going to know. But it's going to be a blast. And if you have any questions...
Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is. If you have any questions for Liz and Brittany, now that they are officially caught up, they are one of us, send them in. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you want to also contribute to our Nolan discussion, we're going to be talking about Nolan a lot. The fact that he's been in it from the beginning. What are some of your favorite moments? Was it the fight in issue 29? Was it when he killed the Guardians? Was it him flying through a planet in issue 75? Write us in. Tell us all about it. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. All that good stuff. That about does it. Thank you all for listening. TJ, thank you for joining. Bill, thank you for your contribution. We didn't mention that Bill was on that interview, so randomly Bill's in the interview with NerdsChatting. But
didn't we?
No, we didn't say that he was going to magically appear, but he did.
I said it. I was like, if Bill's on that too, and you were like, oh yeah.
Oh, well, I don't listen to you for either. All right, and that does it. Thanks again for joining us. Bye.
Okay, bye.
So far already?
Just about.
It's over, and it went swimmingly without you. Swimmingly.
Oh.
Oh, I bet, because TJ could just... There's